from Naomi's Home Health. What has genetics got to do with your health condition? So I wanted to discuss this topic because a lot of health conditions just get blamed on genetics, and we think that if it's genetic we don't have to do anything about it, or we can't do anything about it. But it's not like when you're born you have genes and then you've got a gene here that says you're going to have a thyroid issue when you're 33. It doesn't work like that. Thyroid issues or all autoimmune disease and a lot of other things like heart conditions are all based on environmental factors. You might have family members with a thyroid condition or that have had heart issues or things like that, but it means you could be predisposed to that condition. It's what you do throughout your life with your body or a situation. It's environmental. So, you know, your grandmother might have been exposed to certain poisons, heavy metals, toxicity, and that can get passed down through the DNA. So it's not technically genetic, but it can be passed through your DNA as you get born, basically. So, but it still doesn't mean that you're going to have an autoimmune disease because your parents had it or whatever. It is what happens in your life, what you go through in your life, what stresses you have, what environmental factors like your poisons, your toxins, you know, what you cook with, what foods you eat, if you've been a drinker, smoker, all of those things factor in to your health condition. If you had a virus, a certain virus when you were younger, particularly the Epstein-Barr virus, that can stay in your liver for years and years and years and harbour there until something triggers it to come out, like a stressful event, like, you know, you could have an accident, but there's also things like how you grow up, like is there trauma in your childhood that you don't deal with as you get older, and that creates this emotional effect in your body. So it's not technically genetics. Yes, you might be exposed to the same things that your grandparents, your mother, your father have, or your sisters. That is why things run in the family a lot of the time. I don't have a single person on either side of my family that has had any autoimmune disease, let alone a thyroid issue. They've had a few hormone imbalances, but nothing serious. And there are a lot of people that I've spoken to, because I always ask this question. I did years ago ask this question thinking it must be hereditary. Somebody in my family has it. But it's actually what you're exposed to with the people in your family that, and I can see a family member of mine right there online right now. Hi, Terry. Yeah. So it's not actually what is in your family. Same with like heart disease, diabetes, things like that. It's what you're exposed to through the family life or growing up or as you get older or anything like that. So we can't always just blame genetics and think, well, I'm stuck with this now. Doctors might tell you it's genetic, but in my opinion, and this is going to sound bad, but do you want to believe the majority of doctors who tell you can't heal, tell you that the only thing that you can do is get on medication, food, nutrition has nothing to do with healing? You know, they don't really actually understand the condition. They understand how to manage it with medication, blood tests, all of those things, but they don't actually understand how to undo it. So when you dive into it, it's not the fact that you were born with a certain chromosome or a certain piece of your DNA that says you're going to have a thyroid issue. It's what you're exposed to. So please consider the stress in your life, working on that, the toxins in your life, working on driving it out of your body, because just drinking water isn't going to get toxins out. I have actually heard somebody online who runs one of these types of groups say, you know, just drink a lot of water. Drink 3 liters of water. It's going to flush the toxins out of your body. It doesn't work like that. Things like heavy metals get driven out by Atlantic sea vegetables. It might be iodine. It could be coriander or cilantro, as you call it elsewhere. Parsley. things like that are going to drive out, juicing, celery juice are going to drive out heavy metals, not water. Most of our water has heavy metals in it anyway. So it's time to focus on forgetting about who in your family had this issue and looking at why you have this issue, because it is environmental and you can undo it. It's not going to take a week, a month, probably not even a year. It's going to take progress and work. I still always work. I don't go, radio, I'm not on any medication anymore, so I'm going to go back to eating rubbish. And not that I ate rubbish before, but I'm not going to go back and undo everything I have, because you can fall back into that. It is important for your long-term health to continually focus on what toxins you're using in your life, what stress, because different stresses come in and out. What stress did you not deal with 10 years ago, 20 years ago? All of those things. We have to go back. And there are so many people that can help you unplug those things from the past. Tapping, my friend Sonia that you have seen in this group, me do chats with, she is amazing at things like that. I have had work done with her. I've got so many people in this group that can help. There's Janelle Watson, Lana Jackson, all these people. If you look them up, they can help you with different emotional things, spirituality. That is important in spirituality, how you connect to the rest of the world, people energetically, all of those things. All of those things are important. So healing is not one-dimensional. It's not just, let's look at the genetics and we'll take some tablets. It's not like that. It's not just nutrition either. That's where a lot of either practitioners or naturopaths or things like that sort of fall down. We'll give you some herbs and you'll do this nutritional program for a little while and that's it. I've done 8-week programs. I've done 12-week programs, 10-week programs. I've done 1-week programs, 5 days, 10 days, you know. That's great to kickstart you, but what a lot of them were missing was it should just be forever. You should just be doing this. It should be how you live, because that is what's going to support your body, and you are not going to heal. I don't care what these other programs tell you, 12 weeks and you're going to drop 10 kilos. That's great, but you're not healed. You're not getting rid of your autoimmune disease. You're not fixing the liver in 10 weeks. Don't worry about the weight loss. Worry about how you can support your body. And that is forgetting about genetics and supporting your body, looking at the environmental factors, how you grew up, and, work with your family who have these conditions, because you've got a support system. So if your grandmother, your mother, your auntie, your sister, and it's usually women that have autoimmune disease, because women not only have like different hormones, but we use the most toxins of women and men. Like men might work in areas with toxicity, might be heavy metal and things like that. They usually get the mental health issues. The heavy metal, gets locked in down the bottom part of the brain, and it can affect mental health issues. But women get the autoimmune disease because we're using toxic makeup. It's got heavy metal in it. Perfumes. We are usually the cleaners of the house. Sorry, men, if you're not, but if you are, men, sorry. But, we're using bleachers and sprays and deodorizers, and we're putting them on kids. And we usually put the sun creams on. We don't see a lot of men doing that to the kids or whatever. We do a bit more these days, but women have generally been the ones, using the hair products and the tanning lotions and going to the spa and getting all the fragrant body scrubs and things. There are plenty of day spas now that use non-toxic things, so that's fantastic. But it is important to know those places. I go to a spa, but ask, what do you use? Because it's important. So, your skin is a really big sponge, and it just absorbs all of this stuff. So women, that is why we tend to have those things, stressful events as well. we take on other people's. Men can kind of block it out most of the time, but we take on our mum's stress and our kids and our sister and our brother. Like we absorb so much. So it's important to energetically put a shield or some kind of block up for those things. So if you do have family members that have an autoimmune disease, drop in the comments. Like, let me know. If you don't, let me know as well, because I'd love to know who does have that, but work with your family. Use each other as a support system. Hey, I had this issue. I get this symptom. What do you get? How do you manage it? Talk to each other and help each other. So I hope that has kind of undone a little bit of thought process for you guys, because education is important. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to agree with you or tell you, you know, what you want to hear. This is what's important, and it is important to learn, you know, education on health, and the real education, not pharmaceutical education, not, you know, that stuff you can learn from your doctor. To me, it's not important for me. Yes, you need to take your medication, but learning other things is super important. Don't just focus on that one thing.